Alright, Treasury Financial Manual, Volume 1.3, Chapter 6100, Centralized Offset with Assigned Payment. The Treasury Financial Manager explains how the Treasury Offset Program works for the offset of the assigned payments. Section 611, 6110, with the background of the Department of Treasury, the Bureau of the Official Service of the Praying, with the primary dispersing office of the federal government, with the official service of the operative of the Treasury Offset Program, the collect with the delinquent, the federal state with the debts, with the offsetting, with the levying payments made with the delinquent debtors. A frequent scenario involved with the assignment of the payment is award with the attorney fees under the Equal Acts of the Justice Act with the prevailing party. Once the assignment of the Equal Acts of the Justice Act awards his or her attorney Title 28 U.S. Standard Code 2412 within the case of the agency recognizes assignment only if the prevailing party does not own any of the debts that could be collected with the offset of the Equal Access to Justice Act. Payment of the Supreme Court unanimously held with the Austria of the Ratliff 560 U.S. 586, 2010. Equal Acts Justice Act term prevailing party referred to the claimant, not the claimant attorney, and thus the offset of an Equal Acts Justice Act. The word collect claimant debt with the government is proper. To the government is proper. Section 611, 6120, scope of the provision of Treasury Financial Manual, chapter describes how centralized administrative offset at the top works from the payment of the half of the benefit sum of the part of the United States legally required to pay, or PEP. Section 6130, determine the definition related to the chapter of the Treasury Financial Manual, glossary 6140 of the Treasury Offset Program operations. What is top? Treasury Offset Program is fully automated system managed with the various federal law for the collection, delinquent, the federal state of the debts for the intercepting, payment that dispersed on the federal state agency for which for the debts are owed, the credit referred to for the credit agency to submit information for the delinquent debts for the Treasury Offset Program. Debts referred to the Treasury Offset Program include federal tax and non-tax debt, for child support debt, for other debts owed to the states. 614020, relevant legal authorities. Relevant legal authorities include Title 5 U.S. Standard Code 551422, Title 26 U.S. Standard Code 6331H, Title 6402, Title 31 U.S. Standard Code 3716, 3728, 3727, and implement regulations Title 31 CFR Part 285 Subpart A. 614030, with how the payments offset of the federal agency made for the payment of the payment agents for the prepare of the certified point payment of void vouchers of the federal dispersing official for the include the officials for the Department of Defense, U.S. Postal Service, the federal agency with the disperse of the Title 31 U.S. Standard Code 3325, also for the Title 31 U.S. Standard Code 3716 C1A. Payment vouchers contain information from the payment that include the information for the persons entitled to receiving the payment of prior for the distribution of the Treasury Offset Program compared with the payment information for the debt with the information of the Treasury Offset Program database. If there is a match between the person who owns the debt that has been paid referred to for the Treasury Offset Program and the person who makes whom the payment is owed with the dispersing official for the offset of the payment and whole and part, certify the debt amounts collected within the transmitted the appropriate credit agency of the agencies. Offset of the statement of the offset of the state payment that work differently. State with the participate with the state reciprocal program receive the strive with the federal non-tax debt records from the Treasury Offset Program before making the payment to silver to compare with the payment information with the debtor for the information the strive with the state with the offset of the payment and whole and part with the satisfied with the debt with the image transmit with the amount of the collected to the fiscal service which will turn transmit the amount of the appropriately credited agencies or agencies. 6140, how the design payment treated. Generally assigned with the payments are legally subject with the offset of the debts for the both the assignment and the assignee. Person through payment they sign with the request for the PEP to make for the payment third party with the referral to it as assignment for valid assessment, transfer, assignment of claim against the United States, including the assignment of the attorney fees of the war to meet the requirements of the applicable law of the Anti-Agent Assignment Act with Title 31 U.S. Standard Code 3727 of the law with the Treasury Offset Program required that not satisfied with the assignment of the particular practical matter of not the United States. Operational payment agency generally makes the make of the payment is assigned with and left the payment agency confirmed that the assignment does not owe any debt to the Treasury Offset Program, in which case may permit made for the assigner. 6150, with how often could the credit agency be referred with the debt of the Treasury Offset Program, how did the impact with the payment agency authority to recognize the assignment. Creditor agency can refer to the Treasury Offset Program and update information debt with the previously referred to 7 days a week for the 24 hours of the day with the Treasury Offset. Top can be updated almost at the moment the information contained with the top is only accurate with the top of the time with the inquiry is made. As such, for the situation, payment agency would likely determine whether they may recognize the assignment of payment the imperative of the payment agency to determine the existing debt that may be subject to the offset of the delay in 30 days prior to the date of the disbursement of the project protects the United States with the interest of the collecting with the delinquent debt owned by the federal and state agencies, where the disbursement of the Equal Opportunity Justice Act of an attorney fee, for example, the check in the death of the plaintiff, for the petition for the award fee, before the government respond with the petition at any time before the court issue the order, will be permanent or better for the death of the care of the plaintiff's government before the payment is dispersed, and subject to the Treasury properly pay for the Equal Opportunity Justice Act of the attorney. Attorney fees directly to the attorney only in case of the plaintiff does not owe the government debt with the government is assigned with the right to receive the fee of the attorney. And such courts may require the government to waive the rights of the offset with the ordering recognized agreement between the plaintiff and the attorney regarding the payment of the fees. Section 6150, disclosure of the top information, legal authority, the top informer, the protector of the unauthorized disclosure, including Privacy Act 1954, Section 6103, Interpretal Rev, the code, previously the act of the permit to disclose the information, several expert instances. For example, the disclosure, whatever the debt has been referred to the top, generally preclude the privacy of the act, with the debt is owned by the non-individual. Individual request the information about his or her health. Him or herself. Individual provides written authorization disclosure, his or her information with a third-party disclosure, authorized routine published in the system of records or notice, sworn. Because of the use might be consistent with the purpose to collect with the prohibited official services of the system of the records known as relating the Treasury operating offset program, record supplementary routine with the consistent with the purpose of the official services maintaining the record of the collection of debt with the Treasury, the FMS 014 Delay Collection Operation System 77, the Federal Registration 8947 in 2012. Both information tax debts offset by the federal tax refunds protected within Section 6103 Internal Revenue Code, the Restriction 6103 apply to both individuals, non-individuals. 6150-20 authorized disclosure of the Treasury offset program information. Official services disclose the information for the top database depending on the requester type and the information being requested to justify the permitting disclosure. 6150-20A, the data request for the individual request for the information of his or her own debts cannot take the federal state of the agency with the debt for the own with the offshore. If you're unsure whether you owe debt with the debtors, make contact with the first service for the top to interact with the voice response system 800-304-3107 and Department of Treasury Bureau of Service, P.O. Box 1686, Birmingham, Alabama 35201, 1686. In response to the debtor for the request of his or her own information, the IVR with the scope of the existing of the federal notice tax for debt with the currently subject to collection from the top of the creditor's agent for the contact information of the creditor agency. 6150-20B, the authorized third party, an individual may authorize officials for the disclosed information of his or her debt and third party may also obtain through the top IVR 800-304-3107 or by mail. The Department of Treasury Bureau Office for the P.O. Box 1686, Birmingham, Alabama. 6150-20C, with the authorized routine use of the officials for the may disclose the current information of the Department of Justice to another federal agency when requested for the connection with a legal proceeding when needed to facilitate the collection of the debt. Offset of the Section 6160 guide for the payment of the agency regarding assigned payment. 6160-10, the requirement to determine whether the debts exist before recognizing a request of the PEP with the payment directly with the third party with the permanent payment agency for determining with the record of the assignment of the negatively impact with the government supply with the collect with the debt, nothing in this guidance required of the payment agency to recognize the assignment that even if the PEP does not allow the delinquent debt of the practice to require the payment agency to determine the PEP does allow do not own any of the debts currently subject to the collection of the Treasury offset program. 6160-20, how to determine whether the debts exist. It is such for the determination payment agency they may request the official service to discover the PEP owned by the debt with the refer the top to recover the payment agency that does not need to know the debt balance of the delinquent state of the creditor agency. The other information regarding the debt fishers. Official services will generally discover the additional information to the exact payment agency. Neither the additional information can be written, and if the additional information regarding the debt is issued should be disclosed. Private Act or other applicable law official services will receive such request determined with additional disclosure. 6160, no split disbursement. The disbursing of the official serve the purpose of the essential ministerial task by paying the person either the payment agency direct pay with the help of the official serve the generally authorized to disclose the amount of debt with the payment agency. The payment agency cannot direct financial services how to split the funds if their debt. In addition, fiscal services is not operational capable of making disbursements. And you can contact the Department of Treasury Bureau with official debt services, and that's in summaries and term of definitions. Chapter 6100, Centralized Offset Assigned Payments, Part 3, Volume 1.